what causes this drifting apart in spite of all this love, this bonding that we have? What causes this drifting apart? People were maybe in one life they were Americans, in another life they are Indians, finding themselves in different families. So what really causes this?
Uh, all right, don't let me forget that, but I want to start off with the first part, what you were talking about with the burial and all this stuff and the bones in the head. All right, that's sick ritualism is what that is, very sick, and it came from the reptilians. And if you've ever seen the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, that's a good example, again, of the reptilians and what they do. They collect the skulls and the bones and whatever. Now, this is all just such sick ritualism. I would suggest, but each person make their decision. What's the old saying? Christian burial, okay? And where did this come from? Religion, burying people in the ground. Most of the indigenous people, the ones that have awareness, they burn the bodies because it burns up the old karma, etc. But when you put people in the ground and they're attached to their body, guess where their awareness is? It's also in the ground. Many of these people, this is the Walking Dead idea that you see in movies where they're coming out of the graves and through the dirt, because actually, how would you like to be underground for lifetimes in a box and be aware of that? It's very real. That's how real it is. It's sick. And so I suggest when my mom left here, I had my brother cremate her. There was no this or that. There was no ceremonies. Just cremate her, take her to the morgue, cremate her, done. It's all done. No considerations at all. But some people have this emotional attachment and to the body itself. And it has nothing to do with the body. But it's a choice. You choose whatever you want. I'm not here to decide for people. You can partake of the knowledge, or you can just do what everybody else does and stay unaware and the effect of everything. Your choice. And so the idea, the reality of how we go here and there and whatever from lifetime to lifetime, it's because from your personal view here, you're looking at that process from a one-dimensional view and not from an overview, the real you, that you don't as yet recognize. It makes the decision, not the personal self. So it takes on the experience, and it's like you. It's no different than what you would do when you go to college, okay? Let's say, and you want to take courses. Now, are you going to take the same courses that your parents took if they went to college? Probably not. So you could say, well, why don't you just take the same courses that your dad took? He took history and English and, geometry. Aren't you going to take the same courses? Well, no, you know what you want to take. And so just like coming to the earth, this planet, or maybe you finish this life and you go to another planet, if it's Venus, Mars, or another galaxy, Alta Centaurus, or whatever, some star. You know what you want. It's like picking your college course, because what you're here to do is learn. You see, when we come into this life, because we're so buried with the five bodies and the personal self, all we see is our personal life. That's all we see. And so we have a new body and a new mind, and we feel good. We're young, we bounce around, we're happy, we're giggly. So everything seems fine. And, a good percentage of us have a pretty good upbringing. A lot of us struggle, etc., through different things, because, again, it's the choice. The real you makes the choice to go through what it goes through. And so there's a basic idea that you have when you go into this process here to to where we are. We'll just use the Earth as a reference. And just like if you're going to college, you have a basic idea of what you want to do, but while you're in college, all kinds of things happen, right? All of a sudden you meet other people. Maybe you meet your future wife there or whatever that you didn't even know you would meet, and things change, or all of a sudden one of your friends talk you into joining one of the fraternities, but you really don't know what it is, but they usually are partying all the time and getting intoxicated, etc. And all of a sudden your studies go this way and that way. You see, you may have a life plan coming in, but you've got so many factors going on that pull your attention, because now all of a sudden you've forgotten why you are here. And that's the biggie. Why are you here? You're really here to wake up. But because of how the personal body is, and especially if you have really a cute body or a handsome body or something like that, or you're born into a rich family, all of a sudden you're going to have particular attitudes that you have to deal with too. And that can take you into even more lifetimes, you see? Because from that, you're going to create other situations here. So yes, it's a huge challenge, but the real you, just like picking college courses, wants to have certain experiences. And why would a person go to college or have an education? Because they want to get to a certain point in their life where they have their own life. And the reason you've come here into creation is because you want to wake up so you can recognize the whole of life. But once you're here, you forget that. Now you have a cute little body, and it's boy meets girl, and let's get married, and let's have children. All that's fine. At the same time, you can still wake up, but usually, no, that's 100% of your life. And then eventually you're old, your grandma and grandpa, then you're really old, then you're older yet, then you keep getting older, and it's like, oh, gee, this just keeps going on. I'm just older and older and older. Eventually, it's like, okay, when's it going to end? I can't wait till it ends because I'm really too old, etc. And that's every lifetime. And then finally it does end. And then, for the most part, you don't know where you're going, or you're afraid to, what's going to happen, or whatever it is you're considering. You see, but it's the real you that decides that. The real you that you don't see yet. You don't see yourself, the real you. And so that's why. So placement doesn't matter. Placement doesn't matter. It's interesting for myself as I came into this life and where I was born. But my destiny was to come to California. But I was to start off in St. Paul, Minnesota. And so from there, but my destiny was to come to the Pacific Ocean. And so this was the basic idea, but in the meantime, going through this adventure in a particular way, setting that up, and then going through the process to finally get here, you see? And that did create a comparison for me. It really did. Because if I was just born here, I'd probably never leave here, because I have no desire to travel the world. I really don't, because I've been over this world many, many lifetimes. But I do want to go to Africa for the adventure and what I want to do with the projects. That's different. But in Huntington Beach here, no, even my dad, when he wanted me to come back as I was older here to Minnesota, I said, no, I don't leave Huntington Beach. Okay, this is where I am, and this is what I'm doing. So he came out here. I hadn't seen him for like 30 years since I was young. And so we decide that. So again, there's no mystery to anything, but we have been told that there is, but there's not. Once you have the knowledge, it's a lot more fun. Then your life becomes fun. It's not the drudgery of trying to find out and being the effect of things, you see? We're making everything fun. And this is where most people can't figure out. It's like, how can everything be fun? Well, it can be, because again, once you understand creation and all the different levels in creation and what's taking place, it's all okay. You can handle it. Yeah, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're going to suffer. Suffering is fine. I'm not saying you chase suffering like you do money, but the thing is that whatever you do here, There are going to be particulars. You can't be protected from everything. But as you moment by moment go through every moment of experience and learn to be now and recognize what's taking place, it's going to be to your benefit overall. So it doesn't matter about the placement of things. And so I would say that from what we've come through in history and what we've come to know, and especially genealogy, families, and all that, okay, that's fine and interesting, but it's way overrated, okay, because it's just creation and you can recreate it. It's like an actor in a movie. He goes from one role to another, and that's all he does. He just plays the role. And you can decide at any moment to play any role you want. For me, I see that playing a role that benefits everything and everyone makes sense. And I forget myself and my own personal stuff. I just continually put myself in the activity, you see, and ignite things that do make a benefit for everybody else. So my focus is on everybody else. So all of a sudden, I have new friends and I have a real family, not just the fake family that I came in with, etc. And I don't put emotional ideas on the people that I know. I see that people that, what I see as a real person is a person that wants to wake up. That's a real person. Everybody else is just making their personal choices. And respectfully, that's fine. That's fine. That's their personal choices. But I focus on the people that want to be real. That's what I focus on. And so situations are going to be according to the choices that people make. Again, it's all choices. You are the decider. There's nobody making choices for you. There's no fate other than the one that you decide. That's real. And so prophecy, it's really baloney is what it is, but it's just cause and effect. But if people want to follow these ideas, hey, go for it. The end result is you'll just be the effect of everything that you've decided. If that's fine with you, hey, have fun. But you don't have to be. You can be aware and wonderful and shine like the sun. So again, those are the particulars until we become aware, completely aware, Charles, that people go through. But the best part is the isness of life. When you recognize it, all that stuff can just be let aside, like old books on the shelf. Just let them be on the shelf. If you need them as a reference, they're always there, but you don't have to carry them around. And that is that you can resolve anything you want right now by simply recognizing it, just letting it be. And then decide something that makes sense, because we all want the activity. Again, I love my construction business. It was very hard work. I had to discipline myself to not do the hard work because I liked it. So I had to discipline myself, and I accepted that. I faced that to sit down and write and do it. And this is what I've done. And so I don't want to do the hard work anymore. Yeah, I'm done with that. But I did love it. It was fine. It didn't bother me. I didn't mind the suffering and the pain coming home and could barely walk. Yeah, it's like going through the war. It's like Indiana Jones every day. It's 8-hour day. It's interesting, isn't it? It's kind of like in the third one where Sean Connery plays his dad, and it's like, this is what you do every day? He can barely walk, And so the thing is, that's what my construction business was like. But I loved it. It was great. And and then I still taught and did everything else at the same time. So, but now this is what I do. So again, everything can be so simplified. But yes, the challenge is who will step up and creatively put something together to where that it does create a benefit for everybody, so that they have a chance to recognize more than what they've known and all the burden they carry. Who will do that? Very few. Most people just want to go play their little tunes and go do it. Again, we're the main event. And that doesn't mean that everybody here is standing real, because a lot of people just want to do their own little thing. Well, go do it. We as worldwide educators, the real people that stand real, we're doing it. Yes. And it's going to become more so. So everybody proves themselves. And life sees you. So if you don't care about that, then don't care. But I do, because I love standing real with the whole of life to recognize it as it recognizes me.